Say you need a friend, no matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibition.
How precious is life, that it can be full of exuberance one day and so full of clinging to our own breath the next. From fierce to fragile, from glory to grim, we cannot predict what this earth has in store for us, and we cannot measure the infinite possibilities of why things must sometimes go the way that they do. But let us, at the very least, recognize this truth, that we are not immortal, not one of us. We are not immune to pain and change and loss and storms that wreak havoc in our most sacred places. Even when all is well and good and overflowing, we are always at the mercy of one single blunder, one mishap, one wrong turn. This, my souls, is why we must not take any of it for granted. The beauty and tragedy hold each other close. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Epoxy Me That. How are you? I hope doing okay. And I want to thank you for showing up today. We're going to be reviewing this Craftor Silicone rubber. They sent this to me to review it on my channel. So let's get in this box and see what we think about it. Alright, let's see what we get in this kit here. Okay, it looks like we have 5 of their cups. And they're 8-ounce cups. They have mils on them and ounces. We get 2 pairs of gloves. There's 2 in here and 2 in here. We get part B and part A. And there is an instruction manual and 5 lolly sticks. These are our 2 little specimens that we're going to be molding today. Meet the bee. It's on a beautiful leaf and it's very, very pretty. Then meet Mr. Turtle. Isn't that beautiful? And it does state in the Craftor directions that plastic containers such as disposable plastic cups, bowls, yogurt boxes are suitable for simple mold making. So we're going to use these plastic cups to place our pieces in, and they fit in there perfectly. It's not touching the sides, and then this one fits in there perfectly, not touching the sides. And to make sure, I don't really think this turtle is going to float up because it's rather heavy. Matter of fact, I know it's not going to, but this one's really light. So I have my glue gun over here getting warmed up, and we're going to place a few little dots underneath the leaf there just to ensure that it doesn't float up in our silicone. It does state in the directions that you can also add your favorite color of mica powders into the silicone, that's okay to do. And this silicone is 15A is the hardness of it, and that's suitable for various mold making. It's also compliant with food contact standards, so it's safe and non-toxic after curing. We have a 30-minute working time, and then we get to demold after 3 to 6 hours. And that's within, you know, like a 73 degrees is in your room, or 25 degrees Celsius. 73 degree Fahrenheit or 25 degrees Celsius. And do not use a released agent on your pieces. I don't know why it says that, but it strictly states that in the directions. It also says that if the ambient temperature is below 15 degrees Celsius, the curing time needs to be extended. Shelf life on your silicone is 12 months unopened. If it's opened, then you need to use it within 3 months after opening it. And I also wanted to mention, containers that you cannot use are foam plastic containers or containers made of sulfur, oil materials, and inferior plastic boxes such as PVC. My glue gun is ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up my bee here. Okay, so I see where it's setting at the most, and it's got the most weight right here. Right here. And right here. Okay. So now I'm going to go get it down in the cup here. Yeah, it's in there. I could have got it a little more on that side, but I think it's going to be okay. Pretty sure it's going to be okay. See, it's just a little more on this side than that side, but I don't think that's going to affect our mold. And his little and see, we have enough room right there, so he's not touching there, and he's not touching anywhere around the edges. So that one's ready to go. Now let's get our turtle done. I'm gonna put a few little dots on our turtle just to be sure. You never know. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to show you how they have these sealed, and they have these little things right here that I just take a pair of pliers and just pop it right out of there. And I just throw this away because I don't need it. I won't be storing it for very long anyway. And we're going to use quite a bit of this silicone right now because both of these cups are going to be filled. Okay, I'm going to switch out my cups here. I'm not going to be using these cups because I need something a little bit bigger, I think. So I'm going to use these two just to be on the safe side. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and put one of my cups on top of my scales here. Now I'm going to cut my scales on. And I'm just going to clear it out just to be on the safe side. And now I'm going to take my part A here. And I'm going to stop right there. Let's go to 160. Okay, that's 161. I'll stop right there. Okay, now I'm going to take that one off. I'm going to put this one on, clear my scales out. I'm going to get part B. And we're going to go to 161. I mean 61, not 161. No, it was 161. Yep. 161. Okay. I want a little over there. That's 164. Let me take it back off and do it again. And we'll dip a little bit out till we get to 161. Okay, now it says 161. Now that says 159. No, 160. Put a teensy weensy bit in there. There we go, 161. Alright. Now since it says we can color it with some of our favorite mica, I'm going to use my Interference Green here by Pearl X. And I'm just going to grab a little bit out of here. Probably about that much. We don't need a lot. And I'm going to get it stirred up into one of them. Really good. And then we'll add it to the other one. And then get them stirred up really good. Okay, now I have my timer set here. Since it said to stir between 3 and 5 minutes, we don't have a whole lot of silicone here. I mean, we have a pretty good bit, but not a lot. So I'm just going to do 3.5 minutes. We'll just do that right there. Okay, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That's what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to put this over in this, put them together, mix A with B, and then I'm going to put you on a time lapse while I stir. Okay? Okay, we are done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this silicone through my Airless Pro bubble remover machine to get out any of the bubbles. Okay, I've ran it through my debubbler, and I also wanted to mention the Bond Crafter Taba Squishy gel that I reviewed in my past video. A lot of you noticed that the link wasn't working. Well, I talked to my rep and I did get that fixed. So the link is in my description box, is the correct link. So I'm sorry about that. I do apologize. They got a mix up. Their labels were printed out wrong. It's not Flix, F-I-L-I-X rubber. It's Flex rubber. So the labels were printed wrong on their product. So I did fix that in my description box. So now you all should be able to go directly to that link. Okay? Now let's go ahead and get our little cups out here. I'm going to do the B first because it's going to need more silicone than the turtle. So let's go ahead and pour. And I'm going to pour in one spot, not all around the cup. I'm just going to go in one area and let that silicone make its way all through underneath that leaf and all around it. We don't want anything, any air getting trapped anywhere. So I'm going to take it slow until it feels completely up underneath that leaf. There we go. I've seen it meet on both sides, so I know it's completely filled under there. I couldn't do that again if I tried, my friends. I got just enough in both. I mean, I could never ever do that again. There for a second, I didn't think I was going to make it with that turtle. But there's that much room. I mean, plenty of room from where his eyes sit to the top of the mold. So I know we are good to go. Okay, I will meet you all back. I'm going to wait. The directions did say 3 to 6 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and give it that 6 hours. Okay, so I'll meet you all back in 6 hours and we'll see what we got. See you later. Our molds are finished, my friends. Are y'all ready to get them out? I went ahead and let them sit in here for a whole day. So we're into the next day. Now I think it's, I don't know if I can get them out. I may have to cut the cups down the side to get them out. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Alright, I have both of them out. Now comes the fun part. This is the part I'm not very good at. Now, if it's something that's flat, then I'll lay a piece of the Cricut transfer tape. I lay some of that down and it always works so good for me. But pieces that aren't flat, that's the ones that I struggle with the most when I'm making molds. So if anybody has any tips out there you'd like to share with me, I would definitely welcome them, my friend. So I'm probably going to butcher these molds up trying to get them out, but they're still going to be functional. They'll still be able to be used. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get to it. This is the bee, and I see where the leaf is at, so I'm just going to follow that leaf. And I'm going to put you on a time lapse while I do that. Okay, on this one, I didn't take into consideration that there's a little tiny hole right before it reaches the leaf. And that, well, it's not a hole, it's a tiny part of the bee. Okay, so the silicone has wrapped around that. So I don't think we're going to be able to get that bee out of there. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. So, you see that? That tiny hole? The top part of the bee has got to come through that. And that's not happening. This is glass. If I try to pull that out of there like that, it's going to break. It's going to break the bee. Alright, I'm just going to go in for the bee. Trying to see where's the closest part at. I'm just going to go in through the back. Now when you're doing this, you need to zigzag your mold. Now let's see how much further we got to go to get it out. Okay, I ended up having to go let my husband hold one end while I cut the other to get our bee out, because I didn't want to break it. And here's the outcome to that. The silicone, let me get something like a pointer so people can understand if they're trying to make their own molds. You know, learn from the things that I do, you know, so you don't have to make the same mistakes I make. See this part right here? The silicone is wrapping around that, and it's keeping this part from coming out, the rest of the bee. And then if you was to get, as I was trying to zigzag the mold like I've done before, because I have made pieces like that, and they do cast very well. You just wrap a rubber band around it and they work fine. And I'm going to go ahead and cast in this. I am. And I'm going to see what we get. Yep, I sure am. Okay, let's see here. Okay. I don't know where I need to cut at here to get our turtle out, but I'm just going to go from foot to foot. Yay, I got the turtle out. Okay, I'm not real sure about his feet, how they're going to look, because I wasn't sure how to cut them out. So, I don't know. But he's definitely ready to cast in. So that one worked out. At least we got one good mold, right? We can't always be perfect, huh? But I am going to still cast in this, because that's going to be fun to see what we get out of here. Don't you think? I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see. Wouldn't that be crazy if we got a perfect little bee? That would be awesome. Okay, let me go mix up some resin. And, oh no, we have to wait. We got to wait. You know, it didn't state on the directions how long we had to wait before we can cast in it. Let me get the pamphlet again. Let me look. It doesn't say on the directions. I've went all the way through them and back again, and there's nowhere in the directions does it state when you can use the mold after it's cured. So we're going to go ahead and use it, because you got to think it's already been 24 hours, because I didn't demold these until the next day, way past that 6-hour mark. So I think we're going to be fine to go ahead and cast in them. Alright, so let me mix some resin up and I'll be right back. Alright, I have my resin right here. I've separated it into several cups here. I'm using the Bond Craftor epoxy resin. It has a part A and a part B. Part A is your resin, part B is your hardener. I mixed them together for 4 minutes in my dual head Resinar's epoxy mixer. Now here's our turtle mold, and it has little places in there for its eyeballs. So I got these little black beads here to put in the eyes. But I need to get a little bit of resin down in there first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spritz a little bit of alcohol in there. And now I'm going to take a little bit of this resin on this lolly stick and just drop it down in there. And that's going to make sure I get some resin in those eye sockets. And then I'm just going to drop 2 beads down in there. Now I'm going to push them down in there. And then I'm going to be very careful while taking this stick and pushing the eyeballs down into the eyes. Okay, I got that one in. And I got that one in. That one gave me a little bit of a fight. Okay, now I'm going to take my resin here, and I want to use my Sig Wand green, and I want to put some of these iridescent blue flakes in. So that's what I'm going to do. Now for the bee, I've already got rubber bands around the bee. Okay, I'm going to put these little gold balls. I'm going to try to put them in his antlers. So I'm going to get some alcohol down in there. Get the excess out. Okay, now I'm going to drop some resin down in here. Hopefully, go to those eyes. Yeah, I don't know how easy this is going to be, but we're going to give it a try. Yeah, I think I got some down in there. I don't know. We won't know till we demold the little booger. So but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one in 2 different pours because I want the leaf that he's sitting on to be green. So we're going to pour the bee. I'm not sure what color I'm going to pour the bee yet, but I just know it's going to be in 2 different pours. Okay, let's go ahead and spritz some alcohol into our title. And now I'm going to go ahead and pop those surface bubbles on the top of my cup here and just give it a little bit of a stir. Now we're going to go ahead and pour. Trying to let his head fill up naturally without forcing the resin in there so we don't get any bubbles. Uh-oh, I think we're going to need some more resin for this little guy. So I'm just going to add some more to this cup. And give it one more drop. There we go. I don't want it fully stirred up. Give him a pretty little look to him. Okay, I think he's filled up. I don't know what he's going to look like on the bottom because the way I cut it. I'm telling you guys, I have got to practice more at mold making. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get better at it. Some of my molds come out looking perfect. And then some of them come out looking like, who did that and why? Okay, I'm going to use my Sigwon Golden for my bee. I just put 4 drops in there. And I'm going to add, if I can find it, a little bit of this glitter right here. Not much, just a little sprinkle. That's all you need. And that's non-sinking glitter that I put in there. So now I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir. Okay, I'm going to let that sit and debubble for about 3 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pour the bee. And I have no way of knowing where the wings are at, you guys. We're just trying to get something cute out of this. I don't know. I'm just trying to save a little face here. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Because I don't know where this little guy's wings are at. And I do want those to fill up with resin. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pour some more. I don't know. I have no idea where those wings are at. But I guarantee you we get a bubble in them. Alright, there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to have to go ahead and pour it, you guys. What we get's what we get. But I'm going to stop before I get up here to the leaf because I want the leaf to be green. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop. Alright. Let me go move these over here and I'll be right back for a special announcement. Are you ready to hear the exciting news, my friend? New to the channel is Test It Tuesday. No, this is not a collab. Now, our day may go a little bit different depending on what I'm testing on Tuesdays. Don't worry, it'll always be fun and exciting. I will be purchasing everything out of my own pocket unless I get in a pinch and use a review product on Tuesday, but I will make sure you're aware of that if that happens. But for the most part, it'll be coming out of my own pocket. So you will have to put up with me only if you want to. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm excited about this and already have a stack of products ready to test. That's enough chit chat. Let's get back to the video. We are back and ready to demold our turtle. And I have a few things over here we'll talk about in a minute. And then we're going to go ahead and pour our leaf that our bee was sitting on. And I did get them apart. Yay! Put them in a pan of boiling water. So yeah, we're just going to do 2 separate molds here. Won't be in this video, but we're going to try to get it done. Let's go ahead and demold our turtle. I've got to get better at cutting my piece out on the bottom because I struggle with that the most. Oh, I tore his head off. Oh no. If I would have just put some oil in there, he would have came out instead of me sitting there struggling with him. Poor little guy. I tell y'all, nothing worked right in this video. But we're going to glue it on there, okay? And we're going to make it all right. But if it wasn't for that, he would have turned out really, really cute. And there's the bottom, which we can take our little snippers here and clean that up and file it. So that'll look a lot better. Yeah. This wasn't an easy thing to mold. I wonder how you would get that perfect right there. Huh. I don't know. I'm going to have to work on this one and see if I can get a better mold out of this. Because this little guy is so cute. I'm going to use that same Sigwon green transparent that we used for our turtle, for our leaf here on the bee. I'm just going to do 3 little drops there. I'm put a little bit of that non-sinking glitter in, just a little pinch, not much. And then get it stirred up. Okay. I'm going to let that sit and degas, let the bubbles rise to the top for about 3 minutes while we talk about these. Remember that bead necklace that I told you all that I took apart last week? Well, here's one of the beads. Remember I showed you how beautiful they were? And we put some of them on the badge reel that I made for the dental assistant. Well, I told you I wanted to make a mold of it. Well, I did. Here it is. So let's demold it together and see how it turned out. Now, when you're making a mold of anything that has crystal look to it, transparent colors are always going to give you your best look out of that mold, is in my opinion. So I used a transparent alcohol ink. You ready? And there it is. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. Let me know what you would do with something like this. I would love to hear your idea. Okay, next I made these cute little Hello Kitty earrings. And we're going to have to make her eyes. But there she is. And that color down there is her feet. Aren't those cute? Now see, these kind of molds I can make all day long if they're flat. But these kind of molds, I struggle the most with them. But one day, I'm going to get it right. One day, my friends. That's why I don't sell the ones that I do like this, because if it's not perfect, I'm not going to sell it. I give them away in giveaways. Like this turtle one that I made. I gave away, what was it, 3 of these? I think I gave away 3 of these. I just didn't feel like it was perfect enough to sell, you know, to take, you know, profit off of it. I'm not going to do that if I don't think it's perfect. So yeah, I just do a lot of them in my giveaways. And I think my subscribers really enjoy that. Okay, let's go ahead and get our leaf here poured. And then we can go ahead and demold that. I'm going to spritz a little bit of alcohol on the top right there. And I'm just going to hit the top of my cup with this heat, pop any of those surface bubbles. And now let's pour. I think I have enough in here to get that poured. I think that's perfect. I see a little bubble down there. So I'm just going to nudge it and get it to the top. And if you're using something like this, be very careful and don't scrape your mold with it. Because if you scratch your mold, it's always going to have a scratch in it. Okay, I'm going to take my heat gun and just run a little bit of heat over the top there. Pop any bubbles that may be on the top. And I will do that again in about 15 minutes. I'm going to spritz some alcohol. And now I'm going to sit it over here and let it cure. And I'll meet you back when it's time to demold it. See you later. I think our bee is ready to get out and take a look at him. It's probably going to be a disaster. It's probably not even worth looking at, but we had to use the mold since we made it, you know, even though it is the way it is. Ta-da! I pulled it off. Y'all thought for surely my little piece had done had it, didn't you? But I had faith in my mold. I knew it was going to come through. That's why I poured in it. Because I just had faith that we was going to get us a perfect little bee out of it. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. So precious. Now we got a little cleanup to do down here, but that's nothing. We got us a perfect little bee out of that. And right there where it closed up at, there's a little bit of resin right there, but it'll come right off. It'll peel right off. I'm not going to scratch on him because I don't want to mess him up. But yeah, he's beautiful. Just beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that precious? I just love this little bee. Absolutely love it. There's a lady at my church. They have, she's a beekeeper. And she's going to love this little guy right here. I'm going to make her one of these. And she's going to pass out when she sees it. She loves her bees. I think that turned out so beautiful. Okay, we didn't get much of our little turtle. Where's he at? I glued his head back on. Let me find him. He's running around here somewhere. I found him. I glued his head back on. And he looks really good, you know, until you turn him over. He looks all chewed up. Poor little guy. He's just so chewed up on the bottom. Like somebody just gnawed at him. Poor feller. But I got a plan for my turtle too. It's not a total waste. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pour in my mold. I'm not going to worry about those feet because that's a lost cause. I'm going to pour up to right here on my turtle. And then, remember that mold that I made? Right here? all these little pieces are right here, are those little round pieces right there. That's all these are right here. I don't know if y'all can see inside of there, the sparkle. So I'm going to make 4 of these for the turtle's feet. So I'm going to pour up to about right there, and then slap the feet on him, and then I won't have any of that mess right there. So I'm going to make that mold work so it's not a waste. And my bee mold is not a waste either. It works perfectly. As long as I close it together just right, which is not hard to do. Once that resin gets in there, it'll slap right back together. Then it's going to work perfectly. As y'all can see, it did. Well, it's just me and old Chewy here. My bee up and flew off. She's not coming back. So it's just me and Chewy. I took my little bee to church and I showed it to my friend. And I was going to bring it back with me and, you know, sand the bottom of it because it had a few little pieces on the bottom. And she took it. She wouldn't give it back. So, yeah, it's just me and Chewy here. I knew she was going to have a fit over that bee. She said, it's alright. It don't need to be finished. It's just fine. So, yeah, y'all won't see the bee in the glamour shots at the end. You'll just see Chewy here. Well, I will see you all tomorrow for our first time on Test It Tuesday. I'm super excited. I hope to see you there. And it's about that time, my friends, for a sweet goodbye. And I will see you in the next video. God bless you. Goodbye, my friends.